Hey guys, Mahal everyone, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here. Welcome to my YouTube channel with another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, we're taking a look at the next upcoming Lost Chapters for the global version of the game, featuring Final Fantasy IX's Garnet. So for those of you that missed out on unlocking Garnet in the past, this is your chance now to unlock her because Lost Chapters is permanent, and we have a permanent chance to be able to get this character. So let's take a look at the details. So she returns to global, she gets a awakening to level 60, which of course means better stats and upgraded abilities. We get to earn green high shards from her Lost Chapters, as well as other rewards such as gems and tickets. For synergy, we have Zell and Cloud joining her against a returning boss, which is going to be the FLAN Medley. Let's go ahead and take a look at her awakening upgrades. So the first one is going to be at level 54 crystal passive. She gets Brave Boost. This is going to be giving her an 80% max Brave increase as long as she is buffed. Very, very good. At 55, she gets Aquamarine Radiant Water Extend. She gets an additional usage to this ability. Now deals AoE Brave damage and also AoE HP damage. However, it is split amongst multiple targets. The Brave hits on this ability is going to be increased to 2. It has a 160% overall Brave damage potency now, and the HP attack also changes to Dragon's Wave. So before, when you use this ability, it would only change her Brave attack to the corresponding element, which is Deluge. Now her HP attack changes as well, and Dragon's Wave will be healing the Brave by 50% for the entire party of the HP damage she deals. So she has an option now to act as a Brave battery, which is pretty cool. At crystal passive level 58, she's going to be getting buff attack and speed up. She gets a 40% attack increase, and she also gets a speed up as long as she is buffed. And because she is sort of a hybrid character, being damage dealing and support, this is great, so then that way she could take advantage of her support abilities first before the rest of your party actually deals damage. At level 60, she's going to be getting Peridot's Radiant Thunder Extend. One additional usage to this ability. Now also deals AoE Brave damage and AoE HP damage. However, it is still split amongst multiple targets. The Brave hits is increased to 2, and it has a 160% overall Brave damage potency. Her HP attack with this is also going to be changing to Judgment Hammer, and Judgment Hammer is going to be healing everyone's Brave by 70% of the user's attack. So again, another option for her to act as a Brave battery, which is very good. So is Garnet going to be for fun or for glory with this level 60 awakening? So with her awakening, what does it give her? More damage output with added Brave hits, so now both of her abilities deal 2 hits. She has AoE now, so she can take care of mobs, and she has slightly higher damage percentages. And she also will be getting an EX weapon, which we're going to be covering, and this EX weapon gives her versatility now as a healer because she also heals the party with her EX, and she helps the party capitalize on her 2 elements, which is water and thunder. She's great especially against enemies weak to thunder or water. So if you're up against a very difficult boss coming from either an EX event or a Lost Chapters level 100, she's going to be your go-to as long as they are weak to those elements. And her new passives for abilities give her the ability to act as a Brave battery like we covered earlier with her 55 and 60 passives. And her auras actually have some pretty great percentages to herself. 80% max Brave up with level 54, and then at 58 she gets that 40% attack increase as well as the speed up. Now overall, to really enjoy what she can do, she's a character that is definitely gear reliant. Now I know every character is better with their gear, but for Garnet to really capitalize on what she can do, she does need all of her gear, especially because she is locked to 2 elements, which can hurt her damage potential without all of her gear. And when I actually talk about the EX weapon, you'll see why you're going to really want all the pieces of her gear, because essentially she increases the potency of her water or thunder element, and then she also imperils if you have her 15 CP and 35 CP for the corresponding passives. And then with her EX, it actually also gives Enchant Thunder and Water, so then that way the entire party can be taking advantage of her elemental thunder and water. So this is why I say you really need all of her gear to enjoy her. Now with her gear, is she for fun or for glory? I'm gonna say she's still a bit more leaning towards for fun. While she does get a little bit more powerful, what really does hamper her down is being locked to 2 different elements. And also she switches between the 2 elements. So if you use one ability, you're locked into that element. If you use the other one, you're locked into that. So that's the issue that she has, but she is a fun character to use. I'm glad that they gave her an EX, and I'm looking forward to see what she can do, and also to what you guys can do with her if you guys decide to pull and build her up. Now we're also going to be taking a look at another potential awakening, which is going to be Zell. And the reason why I say possible awakening, which more than likely means he is going to awaken, is because as we saw when they released the interlude chapter to us, they surprisingly awakened Penelo, which came out of nowhere. And then afterwards we saw the batch 5 awakenings where they kind of switched things up compared to JP, and we're like, well, where's Shadow's awakening when he was originally supposed to be there? Well, guess what? When the Aerith Lost Chapters came out, both Shadow and Steiner also got their awakening with the release of the Lost Chapters. So more than likely Zell is going to be getting an awakening, and Cloud already has his awakening, so we're not gonna cover that. But let's take a look at what Zell gets. So at 54 he gets dual high speed, which gives him a large speed up to himself as long as he's buffed with his dual stance, and his dual stance is that unique buff that he has when he uses one of his abilities. At 55 he gets Punch Rush Extend. Let's take a look at what this does. Lowers the action delay for both Punch Rush and Burning Rave, which is Burning Rave is the follow-up ability after you use Punch Rush. If his HP is at 80% or greater after he uses Punch Rush, Zell immediately follows up with Booyah. So now he follows up with his ability too, and this is essentially for free. It doesn't use up an ability point from that, so that's pretty cool. And it also increases Burning Rave's overall Brave damage potency to 60%. I know it's a little bit low, but remember, now this also deals overall HP splash damage by 50%. So this is an AoE ability. He deals the Brave damage. One target is going to be receiving 100% of the HP damage, and now it does splash damage of 50%. So pretty cool. Similar to Squall's Renzokuken Plus. So now he has AoE HP damage options. And then at 58, he gets Dual Boost. So this is going to be giving him a 50% max Brave increase as long as he is buffed with a dual stance. And the max Brave increase to him is always good, so that way he can deal more damage. And then at 60, he gets Booyah Extend. He gets an action delay lowered for both Booyah and Meteor Barrage, which is the follow-up to Booyah. At HP 80% or greater, he uses Punch Rush after using Booyah. So similar to his 55, now when you use Booyah, he'll go right into Punch Rush as long as he's within that HP threshold. And then it also increases Meteor Barrage's Brave damage potency to 260%, which is a pretty big increase to that follow-up ability. So is Zell gonna be for fun or for glory? So his awakening, what does it do? This allows him to actually be a pretty good Brave shaver because he'll start off with his Punch Rush, and then honestly that 80% or greater HP threshold requirement, that's not that hard to meet, especially since we have some pretty good healers now in the global version of the game, like Selphie, Aerith, and even Garnet if you have her EX weapon. So this enables him to go straight into another ability, so that means it also allows him to build up to his max Brave pretty quickly since he's using 2 abilities one after the other, so that's pretty good. His biggest issue still is keeping that dual stance, because right after you use Punch Rush, you have access to Burning Rave or Meteor Barrage. After you use Burning Rave or Meteor Barrage, he loses that dual stance. So it's like he goes all out and then he gets tired and he has to reset himself. And what this also does is you also lose out on the auras that he gets from his 54 and 58 passive. So that's really still what holds Zell down, is he doesn't really get to fully capitalize on that dual stance because he's always constantly losing it and then bringing it back, losing it and then bringing it back. So overall, I'm gonna say that he is a lot of fun to play. He's not gonna really be contending with some of our top damage dealers or top units in the current version of the game, but if you want to build him up, he's a lot of fun, especially because of his rotating dual stance and going into one of his abilities after the other. He's a lot of fun to play. He's just unfortunately not going to be a character that's for glory. I apologize to you Zell fans, but he's fun. He's definitely a lot of fun to play. So we're going to take a look at the banner that we're going to be getting with this. So upon the release of Garnet's Lost Chapters, it's also going to mark seeing EX weapons for the featured character on that Lost Chapters. So from here on out, we're going to be seeing an EX weapon on Lost Chapters that we get in the game. So the Lost Chapters EX weapon we're going to be seeing is obviously for Garnet. This is Asura Rod. It gives her the EX ability Sacred Prayer, so now she heals the party's HP. She also Brave heals all of the party members Brave based on her max Brave, so it's a Brave battery and an HP heal at the same time, which is amazing. It also grants Sacred Prayer, which is a unique buff for 10 turns, which is a pretty long duration, and Sacred Prayer grants Brave Regen, Enchant Water, and Enchant Thunder to the entire party. So again, now the party can capitalize on her elements because she also enables you to deal more damage with those particular elements, and she also imperils provided that you have her 15 and 35 CP passives. And the Brave Regen is good because if you remember, her other ability, as long as you have the weapon passive on it, also provides Brave Regen to your party. So now you're getting 2 Brave Regens off of Sacred Prayer and then off of her abilities, which is pretty good. And then we're also going to be seeing the return of 35 CPs for Garnet, Cloud, and Zell, as well as their 15 CP weapons. So what are my thoughts on this banner? Now, Garnet's EX is one of those EXs that are kind of rare. Her EX weapon doesn't repeat until later on. It actually recently repeated on JP. This could change for global. So if you want your chance to get this EX weapon, I would say now is the time to do it when this Lost Chapters comes out. This also has Cloud's gear, which is pretty good because Cloud is actually a pretty good unit right now. He is utility. He can also help with getting you that score requirement because he does have finishing touch, which allows the chase. Zell's weapons are pretty cool. Again, he is a for fun character, but is this a must pull? I almost want to say that this isn't a must pull. Maybe throw some tickets at it and maybe at least do the half off, because with Lost Chapters we know we get a half off. But if you absolutely love this character, if you want to have some fun with Garnet and build teams around her because of her 2 elements, and by all means go ahead and pull. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the boss. So we're going to be getting a return boss, which is the FLAN Medley. If you guys don't remember who they are, if you are a newer player, it's essentially this multicolored FLAN, and it's huge. So it's like those slime enemies. So what this boss likes to do is it summons 2 small versions of itself. If the 2 small versions are broken, they disappear. So all you got to do is break them. You don't have to waste dealing HP damage to them. Just break them and they will disappear. However, if they disappear, the FLAN boss itself will be using an ability called Generate Body, which increases its resistance to Brave damage. So it's going to be a little bit harder to crack at its Brave. It also has an ability called Color Change, where it changes its weakness and resistance. So it's either going to go from Water Weak and Fire Resistant to Thunder Weak and Water Resistant. So you want to keep that in mind, especially if you are using elements in your party. And then it also uses several magic AoE Brave plus HP attacks. So having a healer is very important because most score requirements and achievement requirements now for harder stages, you have to be within a certain HP damage threshold. So make sure to have a healer so at least you reach that threshold. So what are my final thoughts and tips? For top artifact passes for Garnet, I'm going to say you're going to want Max Brave plus 330. You're going to want Princess Resolve up 2-star, which helps out her level 50 passive and attack plus 108. And then for Zell, you're going to want Self-Taught Martial Arts up 2-star, Max Brave plus 330, and attack plus 108. And if you have them built up, bring Cloud and Zell. I don't know why I put Squall. Cloud and Zell for synergy. Apologies for that little typo there. Especially because Zell does have the Thunder element, so in that way when the FLAN Medley boss switches, you can actually capitalize on that weakness. And then because it does shift its weakness, I want to say bringing Bahamut will probably be the most ideal summon to bring, so then that way you don't have to concern yourselves on worrying about its particular stances. You could just focus on actually dealing damage. And then in the future, Garnet will get a level 70 awakening. She unfortunately has yet to see a rework. So some characters in JP actually do get a level 70, but then they don't get a rework. So a character example like that, besides Garnet, is Cater. She got a level 70 awakening, but she still didn't see a rework. Zell does get an EX weapon later on, but he has yet to see a level 70 or a rework yet. So that's going to be the overview regarding this Lost Chapters. Again, pretty exciting that we have another chance permanently to get this character, since she is a very popular character. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to my JP account. I'm going to give you guys a visual gameplay showcase of the Lost Chapters for Garnet level 100. That way you guys get something to see gameplay-wise. Let's go ahead and move forward to that. Alrighty guys, here we are with my JP account. Like I said, I'm going to be giving you guys a visual gameplay showcase for the upcoming Garnet Lost Chapters. I'm going to be taking the Synergy Party. Now, I do want to point some things out. I do have Zell's EX weapon, first of all, which is something we have yet to see, but it's going to be cool to see with this gameplay showcase. And not only that, but Cloud got a massive rework and also an awakening, and he also now has access to what's called an EX Plus weapon, which is a feature in that JP recently got where you could actually upgrade max limit broken EX weapons and they become a whole lot more powerful. So again, this is probably going to look easy with this team setup, but this is a visual showcase and it'll be a treat for you guys, especially for those of you that don't play JP, to see what some of these characters get in the future. So let's go ahead and tackle this. I am taking the Bahamut summon, like I mentioned in the overview discussion, so then that way I don't have to worry about elements. Let's actually take this Cloud right here that's fully upgraded as far as his EX weapon and his armor. And let's jump right into it. Okay, and something different about this Lost Chapters is there's actually 2 sub-bosses, with one of them starting off right off the bat, which is the Sand Kraken. So this is Cloud's finishing touch now. And we're going to take a look at what Zell can do. So let's do Punch Rush. So he does Punch Rush. And again, if we do get his awakening with the Garnet Lost Chapters, he follows right up with his other ability, which is pretty nice. And let's go ahead and use Aquamarine. So remember, that also now changes her HP attack to Dragon's Wave, which is essentially a Brave Battery. And because Zell builds his Brave up so fast now, as long as you have that HP threshold, because he goes from one ability to the other, you can actually go right into an HP attack. So you can enjoy that dual stance buff a little bit longer. Let's take a look at Deluge. So this is Deluge, her changed Brave attack. And then with Cloud, let's just go ahead and finish off the Sand Kraken. And we can take a look at the other abilities with the other waves. Okay. So we're going to take a look at Burning Rave. This is Burning Rave. So now it deals 50% HP splash damage. Again, very similar to Renzokuken Plus from Squall. And then now she also deals AoE HP damage. It's divided. And let's go ahead and do Booyah now. So we're going to do Booyah. He's going to go right into Punch Rush. Well, again, he can build his Brave up pretty quickly because of that. Let's take a look at her Radiant Thunder ability. There we go. Alright. So now, let's see. Let's go ahead and just use a Judgment Bolt. And we have his EX ready. I kind of want to save that for the boss, so we're going to go ahead and go right into his Meteor Barrage. There we go, that's his Meteor Barrage. And again, this is the second sub-boss here, so it's up against the Ghost Priest, where you got to take out his abs before he can actually receive damage. And then this is the HP attack Judgment Hammer. As you can see, it provides Brave to the party, which is pretty cool. As you can see, Cloud got a massive upgrade, so his Cross Slash can become Cross Slash Plus, which is a much higher percentage to paralyze. So he becomes not only a very powerful utility damage dealer, but like he's also like a crazy damage dealer in himself already. And one more wave, and then we get to see the FLAN medley. And here we go, the FLAN medley boss. So remember, with this, you want to just be sure to break the minions, because once you break them, they actually do disappear. You don't actually have to deal them HP damage. So here, I'll make an example of that. Let's break this one. And as you can see, it disappeared. You don't have to do any kind of other damage to it, because it does disappear. As long as you break it. Alright, let's take a look at the EX now. So this is Zell's EX that he gets later on. And what this also does is it changes up his Brave attacks and his HP attacks, which is pretty cool. So now let's take a look at his Brave attack. This is his Brave attack now. So essentially it's Punch Rush. And then he goes right into Burning Rave, which is pretty cool. After you use that EX. And then let's take a look at Meteor Rain. So I only have his EX weapon upgraded once so far, but now his Meteor Rain with just one upgrade gets an overflow. Alright, so now it switch dances and it has Generate Body. Alright, I'm actually going to switch out my Cloud with this Cloud who has a fully upgraded weapon. So let's take a look at what Meteor Rain does now. Look how insane this gets. Something to look forward to. So now it hits twice, which is crazy, and that's not even the full capabilities of that ability. I've seen some pretty crazy damage coming from Cloud, which is insane. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and summon. Just not to prolong this any longer. That's his finishing touch now, which is pretty insane. Has overflow, deals HP damage. And let's take a look at ZELL'S EX again. Maybe we can see his HP attack after we use it. It has overflow, which is really cool. Let's take a look at what his HP attack does now after we use his EX. So he goes right into Booyah. And then he goes into Meteor Barrage. Alright, and let's go ahead and just finish this FLAN Medley boss off. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that gameplay showcase, especially with some nice treats for those of you that don't play JP. We get to see what some of our characters get in the future, which is pretty cool. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Once again, this is 40 the Broadway saying stay tuned for the next one, and mahalo, guys.